Boxing Truth here. I wanted to talk a little bit about Danny Garcia, the current WBC welterweight champion, and he feels he's not getting the respect he deserves from the boxing world. And I have to agree with Danny Garcia. He's not getting the credit he deserves, despite being a unified world champion, a lineal world champion, and in the light welterweight division. He's a two-division world champion, has beaten world-class fighters, has won fights where he was counted out, was a big underdog. He was supposed to be easy work for Amir Khan. He was supposed to be easy work for Lucas Matisse, and look what went down in those fights. Trashed both of them. And now Danny Garcia is still undefeated, and he's still not rated among the pound-for-pound best in the world. And it makes you scratch your head. Why is Danny Garcia not in the pound-for-pound list? Out of all the Al Haymon fighters, he's the one Al Haymon fighter that deserves to be on that list. But instead, you have fighters like Terrence Crawford, a lightweight cherry picker, and a Guillermo Rigondeaux, who hasn't fought a world-class fighter in over 3 years. But yet somehow they're on the pound-for-pound list, and all Danny has done is keep adding names to his resume, winning world titles, and remaining undefeated. Now, of course, Danny Garcia is one of the most hated fighters in boxing. And it's because a lot of fans feel he lost 2 fights in his career against Mauricio Herrera and Lamont Peterson. But as a boxing fan myself, I could argue that the Herrera fight was very close and that it could have been a draw. A lot of people would agree with me. Also, I could argue that Lamont Peterson lost a close fight to Danny Garcia because he started too late in that fight. He didn't start walking Danny down until the 8th round. But look what happened the previous 7 rounds. What did Lamont Peterson do? He didn't do jack shit. Ran around the ring. Wasn't landing any offense. Wasn't making Danny Garcia pay every time he made Danny Garcia miss. So what people fail to realize is a lot of fans when it comes to Danny, because there's a lot of hatred towards Danny Garcia. Those fights were close. You can make arguments either way that either guy won the fight. But at the end of the day, they were drawish type of fights. Now, Danny Garcia is definitely a big target in the welterweight division. Keith Thurman and Sean Porter talking shit, saying that he ain't got no heart, that there's 5 welterweights in the division that could beat Danny Garcia, according to Keith Thurman. Now, I'm looking at the welterweight list, and I'm trying to figure out what names Keith Thurman is talking about when it comes to five welterweights out there, according to him, that would definitively beat Danny Garcia. Right now, I'm looking at this list, and there's only one welterweight in the world right now that I'm certain that Garcia is not ready for and he wouldn't beat, and that's Kell Brook. You could also include Manny Pacquiao, but officially he is retired right now, so he doesn't count. He's officially retired. So, but if he wasn't retired, he would be a number 2, another welterweight in the division that I would say he would definitely beat Danny. So that's Manny Pacquiao, Kell Brook. Now the other welterweights, I can't say with 100% confidence that they would beat him. I can't say with 100% confidence that Keith Thurman would beat Danny Garcia. He will be the favorite, of course, because he's been in the division longer, has had a lot more fights in the division, but his chin and his durability are a question mark when it comes to a potential bout with Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia is a very good counterpuncher, one of the best counterpunchers in the game. He could catch Thurman in between a combination, just like Thurman got hurt in his fight with Collazo to the body. So that's what makes that fight very dangerous for Keith Thurman, because of Danny Garcia's ability to punch with his opponents and the ability to counter while his opponent is punching at him. Danny Garcia is a very good fighter. He's not easy work for anybody in the welterweight division. It would be a tough fight because Danny has always found a way to win in his fights. He's just a clutch fighter, just finds a way to win. Sean Porter, I would favor Danny Garcia over Sean Porter, because Sean Porter's style, he will have to be aggressive in that fight. He will have to come forward, come inside, and Danny would try to counter him all night, and that's a dangerous fight for Sean Porter because he's been dropped with left hooks, like Broner dropped him with a left hook, and that's Danny Garcia's best punch, the counter left hook. So I could see a knockout. I can envision a knockout for Danny Garcia in that fight. But it'd be a good fight if they was to fight. Also, you got Timothy Bradley. Bradley, he lost to Pacquiao. He's had up and down performances. Right now, I would favor Danny over Bradley. Jesse Vargas, that's a tough fight. I need to see more of Vargas. Right now, I would lean towards Danny Garcia slightly, but that's not an easy fight for either guy. That's a very good competitive fight. But my point is that I can't pick 5 welterweights in the division, in the top 10, that would definitively beat Danny Swift Garcia. I think he's better than what people give him credit for. People just love to hate on the guy for no apparent reason. He wins his fights. He's been in tough competition. I mean, his resume is better than Keith Thurman's. It's better than Sean Porter's. Danny Garcia has beaten and has faced more world-class fighters on his resume compared to Keith Thurman and Sean. Who has Sean Porter fought? Who he beat? Paul Malignaggi? Delvin Alexander? Adrian Broner? Really? And Keith Thurman? He's beaten one top 10 fighter in his career. In my opinion, that's not even his best win. People will say, oh, the most accomplished fighter he beat was Robert Guerrero, who was rated in the top 10, I believe, when he beat him. But no, his best win, in my opinion, is Diego Chavez to this day. And what's still to this day his best performance. But when it comes to overall resumes, Danny Garcia trumps both Keith Thurman's and Sean Porter's resume. Now, Danny Garcia, he's feeling the heat, perhaps feeling a little jealousy from these guys who will be fighting each other on June 25th, and probably the PBC's best fight to date that's ever been made, ever since they debuted it last year. But Danny Garcia, he's the more accomplished fighter of the 3 fighters that are mentioned here. Between Keith Thurman and Sean Porter, Danny Garcia is the most accomplished of the 3. Obviously, Danny feels Keith is a little jealous of him because Keith and Danny, they pretty much started their professional careers at the same time. And according to Danny, it kills Keith that Danny has surpassed him in overall accomplishments, has won more straps. Danny was throwing a little shade at Keith Thurman, that is saying that he hasn't really accomplished much in his career, hasn't beaten any top fighters. He's only has one name on his resume, and he's only won a regular belt in his career. And it's true, he won a regular strap, was the regular champion for a long ass time, but he couldn't get his shot because Mayweather didn't want to fight him. And Sean Porter, he's won 1 world title, but he was never the lineal. He was never the man in the division. He only made 1 defense of his title and lost it to Kell Brook. Got schooled in the fight. Ended up having a very short reign as the IBF champion in the welterweight division. So now these 2 guys, Thurman and Porter, are finally fighting each other, and of course the goal is a potential match unification fight with Danny Garcia. Now Danny Garcia, he's gonna be doing some commentating duties for the Berto Ortiz fight tonight. For the rematch. It looks like perhaps the winner of that fight is in line to fight Danny Garcia. Depends how good the fight is, depends how good the winner is. But it's very possible that Danny will fight the winner of that fight. Of course, Danny Garcia will get some criticism if that happens, if he used to fight the winner, because both guys are considered damaged goods. It will be a easy fight for Danny, most people will say, and I can't disagree with that. If that would be the case, of course you would say Danny Garcia would trash both Andre Berto and Victor Ortiz, considering the guys have seen better days. Both guys have been stopped. All the shit that's happened in their careers. Of course, you wouldn't put either guy as a favorite against Danny, who is the undefeated guy, much younger. Well, he's a little younger than Ortiz, but he's much fresher. He's the much more confident fighter. He's the world champion in the welterweight division for the WBC. So of course, that would be, a lot of fans will criticize if that fight was to happen, the Danny Garcia and Berto Ortiz winner. But we'll see what's up with Danny's next fight. He still doesn't have a fight date. He's been rumored to fight Mayweather if he comes back, but if that doesn't go down, there has to be other opponents out there. He's looking to return in July. They're still waiting on a date. He will not be fighting the Thurman Porter winner because they ain't fighting until June, and then perhaps a unification could take place later in the year. He expressed interest in facing Jesse Vargas. I really doubt that happens. Top rank, Bob Arum, Al Heyman, probably not going to happen. And he won't go to the UK to fight Kell Brook. He wants Brook to come to the United States. But how possible can that fight be made? I'm not really sure. It really depends on Al Heyman. But I just wanted to talk about, the lack of respect Danny is getting despite his accomplishments, despite accomplishing a lot more than pretty much the majority of names in the welterweight division, like Amir Khan and Thurman, Porter, Spence, Lamont Peterson. The only guys he hasn't accomplished more, and he's even accomplished more than Kell Brook. I mean, not at welterweight, but overall accomplishments, overall career. The only guys he hasn't accomplished more in the top 10, according to BoxRec, is Manny Pacquiao, who's retired, who's number 1, and Timothy Bradley, who's number 7. Everybody else, he's won more titles, he's beaten more names, he's got more names on his resume. So it's just, it's a little surprising, but it just makes you wonder, why the hell is Danny Garcia so hated? I mean, maybe because of the trash talk of his father, the statements his father makes. Maybe that could be the case. Also, the close fights he's had, a lot of people feel he lost. But I'm just pointing it out there. I think Danny Garcia is the one Heyman fighter that belongs on the pound list, but he's not. But you got other guys that I mentioned before that don't deserve to be there. But however, if Crawford beats Postol, then yes, he deserves to be there. But he should definitely consider taking Rigondeaux out, since he hasn't beaten a world-class fighter in over 3 years, and make room for Danny Swift Garcia. But y'all let me know what y'all think. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.